Divine Mercy Care. Divine Mercy Care. Let me give you a card. Fairfax. We support the only truly pro-life OBGYN in the 300-mile radius.
Really?
So we actually deliver the children.
Yeah.
You guys save the lives, and we deliver them.
And I talked with hi, Will.
Hey, good to see you.
Hey, Will. Good to see you.
Hashtag VA March for Life. Hashtag VA March for Life. Let's get our message of truth and love and life trending in Richmond and Virginia and across this nation.
Hi, my name is Monique Baroudi, and I'm super excited to be here at the Virginia March for Life with Divine Mercy Care. I've been a patient of Tepeyac Family Center, which is supported by Divine Mercy Care since 2001, and a volunteer at Divine Mercy Care since 2006. I was inspired to get involved to volunteer because of the wonderful care that Tepeyac provides to women. And Divine Mercy Care is really filling a need in the pro-life movement, providing support to doctors who want to provide pro-life health care, helping women know that they need life-affirming health care and they deserve life-affirming health care, and helping support places like Tepeyac, which help women with crisis pregnancies, women who are in need of perinatal hospice services, and women who suffer pregnancy loss, and everything else in between.
Leah is the daughter of Bethany and Brian Baumberger, founders of the Radiance Foundation. She is 10 years old and is described by those who know her as a princess warrior. She is courageous. She is creative and compassionate.
So hi, my name's Donna, and I'm a volunteer at Divine Mercy Care. I was a patient of Tepeyac before I was a volunteer. And years ago, I was a volunteer at a pregnancy center and actually brought a girl to Tepeyac. And that was a wonderful experience. So I feel like I've seen the full circle. Divine Mercy Care and Tepeyac are what we need more of in our community. To love women, to love babies, and to help women who are in crisis. And God bless those doctors, God bless the staff of Tepeyac, and God bless the staff and the other volunteers at Divine Mercy Care. It's a wonderful group of people. My life is better since I've become a volunteer, and I'm so grateful for them.
Thank you, Aaliyah. That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you. Well, next, I would like to welcome Father Gino Rossi, who will deliver our opening prayer. Father Gino Rossi is a Catholic priest with the Diocese of Richmond and is pastor of St. Peter Catholic Church, just one block from here. Welcome, Father Gino Rossi. Sorry.
So in the Catholic Church and a lot of Christian denominations, it's Lent right now, which is a time of sacrifice. And so to show how much we desire God to hear our prayer, I invite you for the prayer to kneel with me if you are able to, okay? If your knees are too bad, you don't have to kneel, don't worry about it. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we begin by saying the prayer that Jesus himself taught us as we say together, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Go get them, pro-life warriors.
Thank you, Father Rossi. We are going to have Delegate Brenda Pogge take the first spot. Delegate Pogge was first elected in 2008 and represents Virginia's 96th House of Delegates District, which includes parts of James City and York counties. For over 20 years, Delegate Pogge has worked tirelessly on behalf of pro-life causes and candidates. Delegate Pogge understands the connection between fiscal and social policies. A champion for life, limited government, and fiscal responsibility, Delegate Pogge consistently endorses common sense, pro-life, family, and pro-family legislation in Virginia.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Welcome to Mr. Jefferson's Capitol. And I want to point out, it is Mr. Jefferson's Capitol because he designed it. And he is the one who gave us this proclamation. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men, women, and children are created equal and endowed with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, pursuit of happiness. And I want to tell you, without life, the rest are moot points. Now, 12 years ago, I ran for the House of Delegates. I've been involved with the pro-life movement for 25 years. And when I decided to run, it was because there were no pro-life candidates running for my House seat. So if you can't find a candidate that's pro-life, get in the race yourself, because we need people who will stand in the gap. And another thing I want to tell you about running or elections or campaigns, it's okay to have a litmus test. It is okay to vet those candidates and make sure they are pro-life. And the reason being is any elected official who will not protect your right to life, you can't trust them to protect your other rights. I'm going to give you a quote that for years had been attributed to Thomas Jefferson. But recently I've heard, oh no, he didn't say that. But he said that it is the duty of government to protect life and not to destroy it. And if they want to disassociate him from those words, I am here to happily associate my name with those words. I want to leave you with a thought, because we only get 2 or 3 minutes and I could go on, but I want to leave you with this thought. When you get in the ballot box, every time, I don't care if it's in June or November, choose life. Choose life. In the ballot box, choose life. There's no more important vote that you can take than to choose life, because right here in state houses across this nation, if you are watching, this is where the battle is raging. This is where the New York City lit up pink when they chose death. But this is where the battle rages. In every state, we're looking at now Georgia and others that now have fetal heartbeat bills, and then we're looking at other states that have chosen infanticide. When you get into the ballots and the ballot box, you tell your friends as well, choose life. Choose life in the ballot box. That's where it all starts. And I just hope and pray that Virginia will always be a state that values human life. Thank you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Oh, wow. Next, we're going to have Senator Bill Stanley. Senator Bill Stanley, a conservative elected in 2011, represents Southside and Southwest Virginia. An attorney, he lives with his wife Laura and their 3 children in Franklin County. Senator Stanley remains a strong pro-family leader. He was the author of the Personhood Bill in 2013, which put as law in the Code of Virginia for the very first time ever that life begins at conception and permits a separate civil cause of action for the mother of a child that is killed in the womb due to the negligence of others, regardless of time of that child's development. Let me welcome Senator Bill Stanley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today you stand at ground zero for life.
Amen.
Our governor, who lives in that mansion right over there, told America that he believes that abortion is permitted up to and after birth. Nothing can be more horrendous than what he said.
That's right.
But you stand today, and I want him to hear you roar for life. Earlier, they held a protest in favor of Planned Parenthood. And the 11 people that showed up barely made a noise. You are on the front lines for the most important issue as God-fearing human beings that we have in front of us now, today, and tomorrow. This General Assembly right now is at a crossroads. In the House, it's 51-49. In the Senate, it's 21-19 Republican. All for life. But this election this November, in every precinct where you come from every corner of the Commonwealth, you can deliver the majorities that will make life permanent here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. There is no greater cause. There is no greater cause. We are directed by our Creator to fight for the very thing He creates. He gives us the greatest gift of all, which is life. And there are those that sit in this white building and tell us that it's not worth it. And they are the ones that need to hear from us that we will not stand for murder. Because what they want to do is nothing short of murder. And if we don't stop them now, that's exactly what's going to happen, because that bill that Kathy Tramp got caught proposing, will be then the law of the Commonwealth of Virginia. We cannot let that stand. It will not stand. But it's up to you to energize, to go out into your precincts, to go out into your communities, go out into your neighborhoods, and make sure that you have a pro-life candidate, that you fight for that pro-life candidate, and that you make sure that pro-life candidate wins this November. I stood on these very stairs, and I shared a story that I will share with you right now as I close. That I have heard from these people that they say, even abortion up to birth, it is not a human being. My wife and I, she got pregnant with our daughter. And at 24 and a half weeks, the doctor came to her and said that she needed to abort our daughter or she would die. And my wife and I said no. And she gave birth to the most beautiful daughter I have ever seen. And when they tell me that a child at 24 and a half weeks is not a child, my daughter was fully formed, fingers and toes, beautiful hair, beautiful like her mother. And let me tell you one thing that I witnessed. She fought for life. She fought for 3.5 hours for life. And she passed in our arms. And we named her Grace because God had given us this grace. And I know right now that if I live the life that God wants me to lead, that I will hold her again when I reach the promised land. Let us never forget. Let us be redoubled in our efforts that God wants us to fight for life. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your passion. And for all those who are yet to be born, they will thank you too. Fight the fight. Never give up. Never give in. Fight for life. It's the best thing we can do. God bless each and every one of you. God bless you, Virginia. Virginia is for life. Virginia is for life. Virginia is for life.
Absolutely, we stand for life here in Virginia. Well, next we're going to hear from Olivia Gans Turner. Olivia is the president of the Virginia Society for Human Life, the first organized state pro-life group in the country, founded in 1967. Yes, since her own abortion in 1981, she has been committed to protecting unborn children and their mothers under the law from the violence of abortion. At the national level, Mrs. Turner works with the National Right to Life Committee, and she has spoken in all 50 states and 17 countries abroad. She has appeared regularly in various media and before Congress defending life. She's a familiar face at the General Assembly here in Virginia and brings all her experience to the debate here, right here in our Commonwealth. Olivia Gans Turner.
Everybody, I am so excited to see you. God bless every single pro-life Virginian. I can't even see down the hill there. All of you down the hill, I can't see you, but I send my love to you as president of the Virginia Society. No, and I tell our legislators constantly, we are here, and we are watching, and we are listening, and we are waiting, and we are praying, and we are behind them. Today we are not behind them, we are in front of them. You are here! I want to quickly tell you one little thing I've been asked by each of the legislators who just spoke to make sure you all understand why you're not going to see more legislators up here right now. They're in caucus right now because this is veto day, and we had them speak first so that they could quickly go back and do the jobs we elected them to do, which is to protect pro-life activity here in the state of Virginia, right? They want you to know they are aware of our presence. They're going to be watching some of them on the live stream, and I want you to know that nothing means more to me than seeing you here today, because for years we've been asked by our General Assembly members, where is the pro-life community? We're not hearing enough from them. If Ralph Northam did nothing else this year, he certainly communicated to all of you the importance of raising your voices. Giving credit where credit is due. So I will give him that credit, and not much else. Now, we know what we believe in. We believe that every life is precious, that from the moment of conception, we have a newly formed, independent, unique human being life that should be protected under the law to natural death. We will not tolerate the efforts of Kathy Tran or Senator McClellan or Delegate Rodman or Senator Boysko or any other pro-abortion member of our General Assembly, forcing forward a radical agenda that would not only make abortion legal through birth and beyond, in the governor's words, but actually also there were efforts in the Senate to make abortion a fundamental right under the Virginia Constitution. Are we going to stand for that? No. We will not put up with that. And we are united. We are united in the recognition that all of the seats in the General Assembly are up for election. You've heard our legislators begging for your help, reminding you that your presence, communicating, educating, knocking on doors. Pay attention to the VSHL website, our PAC website. Virginia site is going to be updated in about 2 months after the endorsement process goes through. You will see the names of all the endorsed candidates on the VSHL PAC website. Pay attention to it, figure out who your candidate will be in your district, and volunteer, participate. Contact us, see what you can do to help us. Our purpose is going to be to drive that pro-life vote. You are the people who will drive that pro-life vote to the polls in November. Right. What I see before me are the people who cannot be replaced. Something I have said for years to the pro-life community is that we believe that every innocent human life is uniquely, wonderfully, and fearfully made. And for that reason, not one of us can be replaced, ever. And so in this movement, you may not know yet what your talents are. Some of you are brand new. This is your first pro-life event. You're here today because you were compelled to participate after seeing the video where Delegate Gilbert so elegantly and so intelligently questioned Delegate Tran and forced the truth. Because as he said last night at a gathering VSHL had, the only thing that happened during that hearing was the pro-abortion members of the General Assembly were forced to tell the truth. That's it. There was no trickery, there was no trapping of a delegate, it was simply truth-telling. And the truth is they do believe that there are no good reasons to ever put protective laws in place where abortion is concerned. They reject all of our pro-life laws. They reject the parental involvement law Virginia has, the women's right to know laws, the ultrasound law. Delegate Kathy Byron was just here on the steps with me. Some of you may have seen her. Brave people have put forward hard-won pro-life protective laws, our partial birth abortion ban. And next year, who knows what we're going to be able to accomplish. Even with a pro-abortion governor, we're going to make sure that in the next 2 years, our voices are heard in the General Assembly and efforts to go forward. My understanding of the pro-life movement, and I've been in this as Jack since my own abortion in 1981, I am completely aware of what Planned Parenthood does, completely aware of the manipulation, lies. I'm going to tell you right now, I hear on behalf of the babies and their mothers and the fathers, because every abortion is a family. Every abortion stops a beating heart. And every abortion is a loss to our humanity, our common humanity. And each one of us here has opportunities you don't yet know about. Some of you will be writers, some of you will be bloggers, some of you will be tweeters, some of you will be Facebook videoers, some of you will just have a coffee clutch in your living room, and you will continue to educate. And now, as one of the mothers who's been through the abortion experience and knows what that loss truly means and what never leaves the mothers in this state who've been through it, I'm going to encourage you to listen with love and compassion to someone who could be one of our daughters, because I believe that this family will reconcile itself in love, in hope, and in ultimate truth, that every life is precious and must be protected under the law. God bless you all for being here, and please stay involved. Go to our websites, make sure you become members. God bless you all.
Our next speaker has a powerful story that is an answer to the extreme abortion legislation that was pushed in the Virginia legislature this session. Melissa Ohden is the survivor of a failed saline infusion abortion in 1977. Despite the initial concerns concerning Melissa's future after surviving the attempt to end her life at approximately 7 months gestation, She has not only survived, but thrived. Melissa is a master's level prepared social worker and the author of You Carried Me, a daughter's memoir. She is the founder and director of the Abortion Survivors Network. Melissa is a frequent contributor to pro-life news outlets and a regular guest on radio and television programs around the world. Melissa and her husband, Ryan, live in Kansas City, Missouri, with their 2 daughters, Ava and Olivia. Fulfilling the purpose that she believes God set out for her when He saved her from the certain death of the abortion attempt, Melissa is truly a voice for the voiceless.
You know how to make a woman cry. Thank you. Honestly, I'm so grateful to see all of you here today, and I am so thankful for your willingness to stand alongside this fight with me. You know, I want to start by saying something to Governor Northam. She just kept gasping for breath. She just kept gasping for breath, and so I couldn't just leave her there to die. Governor Northam, when you talked about making a child comfortable after an abortion, is this what you meant? Did you mean that they should be laid aside like my adoptive parents were told about my life long ago before a nurse willingly, courageously rushed me off to the NICU that day, unwilling to just leave me there to die despite the demands to do so? Is this what this looks like? To be comfortable? I would love an answer to that question, because this is what it looked like for me, right? 41 years ago when I survived that failed saline infusion abortion at St. Luke's Hospital in Sioux City, Iowa. My birth mother was 19 years old. She was a college student. She wasn't married to my biological father when she had that saline infusion abortion forced upon her against her will, like so many women experience, right? That type of procedure, many of you remember it involved injecting this toxic salt solution into the amniotic fluid surrounding me in the womb. The intent of that toxic salt solution was to poison and scald me to death over a 3-day period. As if that wasn't horrific enough, my medical records actually indicate that I soaked in that toxic salt solution, not for 3 days, but 5. Wow. Why they tried time and time again to successfully induce my birth mother's labor with me. They finally succeeded that 5th day of the abortion procedure and believed that I would be expelled from the womb as a successful abortion, otherwise known as a deceased child. Accidentally, I was born alive. Can we give God a round of applause? And although I know we're rejoicing today in my survival, and although I've forgiven my grandmother who was responsible for forcing that abortion, I've forgiven my biological parents, my own abortionist, you know, we need to acknowledge the fact that none of this would have been possible. None of it would have been possible if that abortion would have succeeded in ending my life. Without the right to life, there are no other rights to come. We know this, right? And we know that Americans are horrified by this extreme legislation that was introduced or attempted to be introduced here in Virginia. And I know you know that our country is watching you to see what happens here in Virginia. I was in a press conference yesterday with the House of Representatives in DC on the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. Did you know we have 193 signatures on that discharge petition? 193! But as I shared with them, right? No survivor's life should be left in the hands of their abortionist. It shouldn't be left to the luck of the draw who's working that day at the hospital. My life was blessed because someone was fortunate enough to intervene in my life. And I refuse to be silenced by that abortion that was meant to end my life. I refuse to be silenced by the media who tries to deny that people like me exist. And I am fortunate for each and every one of you. You are why that legislation did not pass here in Virginia. You are why this legislation will not continue to be passed across our nation. Delegates here today for your incredible stand for life.
much, Melissa. Next, we're gonna have a little surprise. This was a total surprise. Isn't that a wonderful surprise? So we're gonna have the Speaker of the House speak with us for a few moments.
This is such an incredible turnout. There's not a more important issue that I have dealt with in my 30 years in the General Assembly than the life issue. It's your core belief, it's your core value. And this is a big day for us. This is the veto reconvene session. And we just wanted, as a group, to come out and just thank you. You can see this wonderful looking picture up here. Great delegates like Margaret Ransom, of course, Todd Gilbert, who did an incredible job with the Coffee Triangle. And you thanked us a lot, but frankly, what makes this movement what it is you. So, thank you so much for caring about the unborn. And I made a decision as Speaker, I think it's the first time it's ever been done, to come off the rostrum and give a speech on the sanctity of life. And there were 65 million abortions which were overrated. And I'll just end with this. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate what you sacrifice, your belief for life. And I can tell you, as the Speaker of the House, our leadership, down to our last member, we will fight to the last breath for that life. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker Cox. Our next speaker is Victoria Cobb. As President of the Family Foundation of Virginia, Mrs. Cobb is Mrs. Cobb is responsible for the leadership and direction of the Commonwealth's largest and oldest pro-family organization. In her role as president, she maintains the vision and mission of the organization, and she also serves as the organization's spokesperson. She is regularly in demand as a speaker and commentator on family issues in the media. She has been with the pro-family organization since 2000. That's at the turn of the 21st century, people.
Was that not an amazing surprise? We did not expect the delegates to come out. We are thrilled. They wanted to see you, and I will tell you, standing here, and this is my 19th reconvene session day, and I will tell you, you know what this feels like? Thank you for sending the message to my team that we are not alone when we come up here and lobby for life. You know, every year you hear politicians say your vote matters. If you care about, and then they name the issue, you are the one vote that will really make a difference. And in Virginia, every year is election year, so we get to hear that saying every year. And if you're like me, you might be a little bit skeptical of anything that comes out of the mouth of a politician. In the scheme of everything, in all the votes, when all the votes get counted, does it really matter? Does one vote really make a difference? Could one vote save the unborn? What if I told you that stopping that New York-style delegate trans Senator McClellan bill, abortion on demand, up until the point of birth, what if I told you that stopping that from passing the House of Delegates was a matter of luck, or in my faith tradition, divine providence? Yeah, we didn't stop that bill because the electorate had spoken clearly on the issue, or that we had decisively chosen pro-life legislators to represent us. What if I told you that bill had to be stopped because one person, just one person, didn't think their vote mattered? Stopping birthday abortions in the House. We got lucky, or maybe we garnered God's favor, or his unmerited favor. But how is this so? The House of Delegates, you heard them say, is split nearly exactly in half between pro-abortion delegates and those that believe that abortion should be available on demand. These beliefs happen to fall, in general, along party lines. Well, that has not always been the case. It does happen to be the case today, in large part because Planned Parenthood funds the campaigns of many in one particular political party. Control over the abortion ideology of the House of Delegates after the 2017 election came down to what name got pulled out of a film canister because one district had exactly 11,608 votes for the Republican and 11,608 votes for the Democrat, an exact tie. Ponder this. One pro-life voter, thinking that their vote might not matter, instead staying home, would have blocked Planned Parenthood from deciding who is on what committees and who drives the process of which abortion bills go to which committees in the 2018 and 2019 session. One pro-lifer prioritizing the need to vote that day in that district would have blocked the repeal of nearly every pro-life law the Family Foundation and others have been waiting and passing over years and years, rather than relying on the pull of a name in a raffle-style drawing. One pro-lifer running a voter registration drive at their church, capturing that one new Virginia resident or handing that absentee ballot to that one college student, we would have all had to been holding our breath to know whether abortion ideology was going to control the Virginia House of Delegates. Now, ironically, in that very same election, Virginians decisively elected a pro-infanticide Governor Northam. Governor Northam had taken $3 million from the abortion industry and had a long record of pro-abortion voting. What were the voters thinking? Governor Northam replaced Governor McAuliffe, who had taken $2 million from the abortion industry. Just this week, our former Governor McAuliffe announced that he would not have vetoed the Delegate Tran bill if it had hit his desk while he was sitting in the governor's mansion. Despite making all sorts of excuses for Governor Northam's inartful comments of the bill when McAuliffe had been asked about this on CNN last month, it seems now he is completely content to stand by the birthday abortion bill and Governor Northam. The difference between a month ago and today, he's about to launch his bid to run for president, and he needs Planned Parenthood money and Planned Parenthood endorsement. Now this fall, you've heard people say, this fall, all 140 seats of our legislature are up for election. So I stand here today to ask you, can we make a pro-life pact? Can we promise each other, standing here today on these Capitol grounds, that we will not sit back and let other pro-lifers fail to vote? Can we leave the House of Delegates to chance next time? No! That we won't leave the Senate also extremely divided on the question of abortion to chance? Will we promise to do everything in our power to keep infanticide front and center of the electorate as they make their decisions this fall? Will we go the extra mile to hold voter registration drives in our churches and our civic events so that no pro-lifer has an excuse? At the Family Foundation and our sister organization, the Family Foundation Action, we promise to do everything in our power to make sure that you know what these candidates believe. We'll have report cards coming out in the next month. You can look at where every legislator that got an opportunity to vote or stand on trans bill, what they did. We also, in the fall, we will issue voter guides, side-by-side candidate comparisons, that one may not have an excuse when they vote. But it's all for naught if you won't talk to your neighbor, run the voter registration drive, or be brave and ask your pastor to have voter guides at your church. One voter, one pro-lifer, one conversation, that's all it takes to make the difference. Each one of us has the potential to be that one. If that one pro-lifer stays home, we can expect abortion on demand up to the point of birth. And we can expect it to pass our legislature, and just like New York put pink lights over the Freedom Tower celebrating that horrific bill, Governor Northam will happily put pink lights over Richmond. To tell this important story about this bill and Governor Northam's comments and what we need to do and the importance of voting, download our No Pink Lights Over Richmond video off our website at familyfoundation.org and share it with your friends. Your vote is your voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Our next speaker is Ryan Baumberger. Ryan Baumberger, you remember I mentioned his name earlier? He is an Emmy Award-winning creative professional, international public speaker, journalist, factivist, and author of the powerful book, Not Equal: Civil Rights Gone Wrong. He is also the co-founder, along with his amazing wife, Bethany, of RadianceFoundation.org, which is a life-affirming organization based on the belief that every human life has purpose. Ryan has a rather unique perspective of the innate nature of purpose. He is one of 10 children who were adopted and loved in a multiracial family of 15. Today, as an adoptee and adoptive father, 2 of his 4 children are adopted. He enjoys creatively and boldly illuminating the intrinsic worth that we all possess. Ryan.
Hey, Pro-Life VA! How many of you believe that life has purpose? Say it with me, life has purpose! Woo! I'm Ryan Baumberger, and I should have been aborted. At least that's what the pro-abortion side believes. I'm always that 1% that is used 100% of the time to justify abortion. My birth mom experienced the horror and the violence of rape, but chose to be stronger than her circumstances. Are there any strong women in this crowd right here? Come on! My birth mom's courage not only enabled me to live, but it also allowed me to be adopted and loved in a multiracial family, as she mentioned, a small, typical American family of 15. 10 of us were adopted, many of us have disabilities in our family, but you know who the truly disabled are? Those who think that the normal, the so-called normal and the planned are the only ones who deserve to live. That's disability right there. So today, fast forward, after my birth mom's courageous decision, I am a happily married man, the love of my life, Bethany, who's the co-founder of the Radiance Foundation. And I'm a father to 4 amazing kiddos. Adoption, as my shirt says, adoption unleashes purpose. Courage shows us that some of the best things in life are unplanned. Amen? You see, I'm not equal according to pro-abortion politicians like blackface/KKK impersonating Governor Ralph Northam.
Yes!
By the way, how many here dressed up as a KKK coward in your yearbook? Yeah, none of us. Isn't it funny though how fake news and fake outrage work? Liberals obviously knew about Northam's yearbook long before he decided to promote infanticide on WTOP. But it's funny how the party of slavery, the KKK, of Jim Crow, of voter suppression through poll taxes and literacy tests, all of a sudden acts offended and outraged at their own DNA. Just saying. Even Planned Parenthood, which poured $3 million in Northam's election campaign, turned on him. See, this is like something you would see in the Babylon Bee. So here you have Planned Parenthood's new president, Dr. Lena Wen, demanding that Northam resign, which I'm all about. He should resign. But isn't that like calling the pot? Wait, how does it go? It's like the pot calling the kettle black face. But see, that's not courage for Dr. Lena Wen to demand his resignation, it's contradiction. Planned Parenthood still daily celebrates their racist and eugenicist founder, Margaret Sanger, who bragged about her speech to the KKK in her own autobiography. I got an idea. Planned Parenthood, you should resign. Planned Parenthood kills more black lives in 2 weeks than the KKK killed in a century. Abortion is the #1 killer in the black community, outnumbering the top 15 causes of death. Combined, Planned Parenthood alone kills 247 black lives every single day. They're the very definition, by the way, of systemic racism. So this is, in our state, this beautiful state of Virginia, 16,042 lives of any hue have been aborted. And that's 16,042 lives too many. Despite the decline of abortion numbers nationwide and in our state, liberals, pro-abortion liberals, want to increase abortion. You know their mantra, my body, my choice, they cry all the time. Of course, we know it's scientifically untrue, but science really isn't their thing. But see, why is it that my body, my taxes, and I have to pay for it?
That's right.
There's nothing courageous about killing innocent human life and slapping a label of reproductive freedom on it. It's cowardice led by a $2 billion bully that claims to Planned Parenthood. They don't plan Parenthood, they violently end parenthood. And Governor Northam and his pro-abortion cohorts want to expand that violence. And I would suggest that Virginia, pro-life Virginia, says, no way. This isn't New York. This is Virginia, where we actually fight for human dignity. The Radiance Foundation joins with you in this fight for justice, in this fight to abolish the violence of abortion. So when you, yes ma'am, so when you leave the Capitol today, and you might feel alone on your campus, you might feel alone in your school, you might feel alone even in your church because you're the only one standing up. And I just want to encourage you that courage does not need a crowd. It just needs a conscience. Courage changes everything. Courage makes lives like mine and my family right here, the Bombers, and calls the bombs. Courage makes my life and the life of my family possible. So say it with me again, life has purpose. Life has purpose. Say life has purpose. Life has purpose. Be strong, be courageous. God bless Pro-Life VA.
Some friends that came down in their own car.
Before I call the next speaker, I just want to remind you that there's a movie, a game-changing movie going on right now in theaters called Unplanned. If you have not seen the movie, you need to go see it. It is defying all odds. That's all I'm going to say. Well, our next speaker is Jeannie Mancini. Jeannie is the president of the National March for Life. And Jeannie was appointed to the role of president of the March for Life Education and Defense Fund in the fall of 2012. In this capacity, she proudly directs the small nonprofit organization committed to restoring a culture of life in the United States, most notably through the annual March for Life in DC. It is March for Life in DC, in Washington DC, is held on the anniversary of Roe versus Wade every year. Jeannie has made frequent media appearances, including interviews on MSNBC, CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, and others, and her writings have appeared in the New York Times, U.S. News and World Report, USA Today, The Washington Post, and numerous other publications. Please join me in welcoming Jeannie Mancini.
To be here with you today in Richmond, Virginia, and I'd also like to welcome Senate pro-lifers from the state. It's about love, it's about the dignity of the human person, and it's about respect. We are a peaceful demonstration. In DC, we're 46 years strong, and we are built on foundations of love and respect. And it is so incredible to see so many of my fellow Virginians uniting here today. Thank you. And delighted to work alongside the Family Foundation, the Virginia Family Foundation, the Virginia Catholic Conference, and the Virginia Society for Human Life to bring together for this first Virginia March for Life. Like all of you that would choose to spend a weekday in your state's capital, I was appalled in January to see the bill put forth by Delegate Tran and then endorsed by Governor Northam. And of course, his further statements were just shocked. We were all shocked by the audacity of that bill. And thankfully, it was defeated in large part to you and to you groups. Thank you. But you know what? It might not have been. They are persevering. And we too need to be persevering. Most of us here, right? Most of us are pro-life. All of us are pro-life over here. And we know that any abortion at any stage is one too many. Am I right? But even most pro-choice Americans will admit that aborting a 7-pound baby just because it's not yet been born is wrong. Am I right? And that's why you're here. And that's why we need you more and more. If you believe that abortion is the human rights abuse of today, let me hear you say yes. Do you want to protect life in the state of Virginia? Let me hear you say yes. Today, when we're done with this rally, which is going to be very soon here, will you march for those who can't speak for themselves? And here's a really important one. The laws matter, and that's why we're here. But we work for the moment when abortion is unthinkable. Will you march for the day when abortion in Virginia and in the United States is unthinkable? Will you march so that someday soon we no longer need to march in Richmond or in DC? Let's work ourselves out of a job, folks, right? So here's one of the ways that we can do that. You're here today, and I cannot thank you enough for being here. But we can also bear witness today. So those who might be watching on Facebook Live, or who want to tell your story over social media, use the hashtag VA March for Life or hashtag Why We March and tell your story, because everyone has a story about why they're pro-life. And that's what changes hearts and minds. Folks, it's also critically important that when we leave today, we don't stop thinking about this issue and acting on it. If we come together one day in January in DC and one day in Richmond in April, it's not that impacting. We need to do more. We need to march collectively year-round, okay? And so the March for Life collectively takes your voices year-round to the Hill and now in these state rallies. And so I need you to work with me because the mission of the March for Life is to unite. That's what we're doing here today. To educate, we're also doing that today. And if you haven't signed up for Richmond 101 at 2 p.m., come and learn even more to be educated. But ultimately to mobilize. We need you all to carry this out year-round. So I'm going to give you a tool for that right now. And it requires your iPhone. So take out your iPhone right now. Everybody, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to take it out. I know you almost all have one here. I want you to hold it high. Take that iPhone out. You right there, take it out. Take it out. Okay, now you're going to click on that app for texting. You're going to text the word March, M-A-R-C-H, to the number 73075. You're typing in the number or the word March, M-A-R-C-H, to the number 73075. By doing this, you're committing to work year-round to end abortion. When you head home today, you're going to receive a text that's going to give you the tools to send a message to your state senators that were here at your Del 075. Let me see by a show of hands who's done it. All right, that's like a fourth of you. Everybody needs to raise their hand. So let me say it one more time. M-A-R-C-H. Say it after me. M-A-R-C-H to 73075. Will you join me in sending these messages to our lawmakers in Virginia and to our governor? Yes! Woo! Thank you for participating in this first official Virginia March for Life. I love you. I'm so grateful for your presence here today. On behalf of our wonderful staff, I really just want to thank you for making the effort to be here. And together, we will make abortion unthinkable. God bless.
Thank you, Jeannie. Before our last speaker, we have another surprise. Our Senate Pro Tem, Senator Steve Newman. Please, Senator Newman.
Good morning. What a beautiful sight at the Capitol. My office is right over here. It overlooks this Capitol, and every morning there's a group here, but none as beautiful as you. And thank you for coming. For the Senate of Virginia, I'll tell you, we've been in caucus most of the morning this morning, and I believe that in about an hour from now, we're going to take the governor's amendment to continue to fund Planned Parenthood, and we're going to reject that amendment. We're going to ensure that that money is not given out to his special interest groups and others. And let me just tell you this. You know, you can be pro-life, and I guess there could be some people far beyond this group that are pro-choice, but all would agree that a child that is born is off limits to the governor and anyone else. Listen, I appreciate you guys telling our group thank you, but we want to thank you. I hope this becomes an annual event. Your encouragement, your support means so much. I can assure you that every day as we come in, there are voices on the far left urging us to do the wrong thing. You are here today and representing the vast majority of Virginians saying do the right thing. The other thing is this. Don't forget, I think we're winning. You look at the millennials that are coming up. You look at those that are my children's age. They're getting it more than my generation did. We're going to change this debate, and ultimately, it's going to be a safe country for the unborn. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Newman. Now, our final speaker for the morning is Felicia Price-Nora. Felicia is the Associate Director of the Virginia Catholic Conference, and she has been on the ground floor here in Richmond advocating against extreme abortion legislation on behalf of both the Diocese of Arlington and Richmond. She also advocates in the areas of parental choice in education, religious liberty, and healthcare. Felicia is a Virginia native having grown up in Prince William, and she practiced law for several years before turning to government relations and public policy. This is where she uses her hard-earned expertise and passion toward protecting the most vulnerable in our Commonwealth. Welcome, Felicia Price-Nord.
Thank you everyone for being here, and especially those that came out to our two masses in the Diocese of Richmond and Arlington, which Bishop Nestow and Bishop Burbidge. We had thousands. That's a powerful way to start the day, so thank you. Thank you to all the pro-life generation, all the students that I see here today. Incredibly powerful. We need you to keep showing up. We are at a critical turning point in Virginia's history. It is vitally important that we are here marching today for the voiceless, the unborn Virginians. All 140 seats are up for re-election in the Virginia Senate and House of Delegates this year. And as you heard, the current control of the House of Delegates was controlled by a name being picked out of a bowl. If that doesn't tell you that every vote matters, I don't know what does. We need you coming to Richmond to oppose the anti-life legislation that you have heard about today. The horrific legislation similar to that passed in New York. Do you want Virginia becoming the next New York? Then we cannot do this alone, and today is only the first step. Many of you wonder how you can get involved and maybe be intimidated by the process, but I am here to tell you that it's easier than you think. I have testified at hearings in this very Capitol building against bills that would have essentially provided third trimester abortions up until birth with no limitations. Planned Parenthood and NARAL supporters have showed up at every single hearing wearing their pink t-shirts, purple t-shirts, and testifying saying that they speak for women. Well, I'm here to tell you, no. I'm here to tell you they don't speak for me. Do they speak for you? No. That's why we need you there. We need you in these hearings. We need you testifying. If we even had half this, the Capitol would get shut down. So we need you. We also saw, as you heard, legislation filed that would make abortion a fundamental right in Virginia. The governor's administration sent someone to this hearing who testified strongly supporting this bill, saying that it promotes strong families. No. A strong family embraces life. It does not destroy it. The governor should be here right now, because if he looked out, he would see what strong family actually means. The governor's administration also said that reproductive choice is an economic justice issue. So these elected officials are telling us that the worth of an unborn child is apparently reduced to the amount in a checking account or a socioeconomic status. This is unacceptable. This way of devaluing women, unborn babies, and families must be stopped. Will you stand at these hearings? Will you stop these bills from passing? I hope so, because so many lives depend on it. We must demand that our legislators protect life and conscience rights as we continue our fight against the extreme and disturbing abortion agenda facing Virginia. The Virginia Catholic Conference is forming rapid response teams to notify you of when, where, and how to advocate for life. If you want to get involved, get out your phones. I know you were already asked to do this, but just one more time. We have, you can text VCC to 50457. Again, that's VCC to 50457 to get involved. All of us, let's put an end to abortion. Let's support life-affirming programs for expectant mothers, adoption services, as well as support those who are suffering after an abortion. There is always hope, and always a choice other than abortion. Oh, repeat the number? Okay. 50457. 50457 and text BCC. Thank you. Now, before I leave this podium, I have one last request. On either side of me, all 140 members, as you know, of the House of Delegates and Senate are here. We need to make sure that they have heard us, okay? So we need to get loud. Let's make them hear us. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Speakers this morning and those standing next to you. Amazing, amazing. We must continue to educate our lawmakers and hold them accountable. So let me just remind you to share your experiences today on social media with hashtag VA March for Life. And don't forget to send a text message with the word March to 73075. So send a text to the word March to the number 73075. That will help you stay educated on pro-life legislation throughout the year. So before we start our march, a few key things, a few housekeeping items. So first and foremost, let our marching be an indication that we respect life, and therefore we want to remain positive and respectful. And I also would encourage you not to engage with any counter-protest.
We also, what direction should I give this restaurant?
Yeah, this is an amazing woman right here. God bless you.
Will Waldron.
Congressman Bob Dornan.
Bob Dornan, I've heard the name. I'm Greg.
Mary
Nice to meet you, Mary.
on the
Pleasure.
Hill years ago for him. And now we're homeschooling our mom.
That's awesome. Well, God bless you. Yeah, homeschooling's the way to go. That's awesome. I mean, we might be do some tailgating later.
We're a pretty peaceful group. Sure, a pint.
Yes, pints. Pints is the local water and hose.
All right, you ready for the sign? So you
just finished? Call us about 2 hours. We can give you the time. You guys didn't have one already. Emma Parker.
Emma Parker.
I love you, Emma.
No, you don't. It's John Paul.
We're here at the Virginia March for Life. Got our big sign, I don't know if you can see it. Divine Mercy Care, advancing pro-life health care through Tepeyac in Northern Virginia and through pro-women's health care centers nationwide. We're up to a dozen certified pro-women's health care centers that have wonderful health care for women across the full spectrum, young women, old women, women in need, women of means. Everyone's welcome at a pro-women's health care center. And we believe that this kind of pro-women's health care, this kind of life-affirming medicine is what's going to transform the conversation so that abortion is no longer synonymous with women's health. And we want that to start here in Virginia, outside the nation's capital, and throughout our state. And we want to be that beacon of hope and light. And if you're not able to march with us today, we ask that you make a donation. Maybe it's $25 or $250 in honor of Tepeyac OBGYN's 25th anniversary serving our community. Please give. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Pray for us and join us tonight for the live webinar on why fetal abnormalities don't justify abortions, starting at 6 p.m. There's info on this Facebook page and our website. I hope to see you later.
But as much as possible, it really is that important. That's how you change things in a republic. Stop grind society to a halt and demand the abolition of abortion, or else nothing else will function. If we do that, then Richmond and Washington will respond. And we can abolish abortion. We can defy the federal government, defy the tyrants, bring justice to preborn kids. We need to demand that we ourselves get serious, and then demand that our government gets serious. But our government won't get serious about it.
Somebody have? I found him. Okay. I was gonna say, oh, there he is. Yeah.
We've got to keep this going. We've got to keep this This is not enough. One's not enough.
Dioceses represented. What's going on there? Two catches, that guy was riding him. He would come on, boom. Box now with 10 yards.
That was for one day.
As the nation.
You see like the little.
Influence voters will have a test case right here in Virginia where every single state Senate seat and every single House of Delegates seat is up for grabs.
I'm going to tell Daddy how good you've been doing, Jenna. You're making me very proud.
I went to St. Sid's.
But usually I can do like one nap and it's fine in a day or two. I slid.
with words. Divine Mercy Care.
Hey, we're with All Saints Catholic Church in Manassas.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we have a group. We have the rest of our group and it's posted somewhere. What are your names? Pablo, Noah,
Claire.
where's Grace, Krista, everyone, come over here.
Yeah.
Guys, say hi to the camera.
Because we work together.
Come say hi to the camera, Marissa.
Oh, I see.
At All Saints.
And so what we did is we interviewed some of our people, and I took some of the video of the people. You had a baby there? I took video of the people talking, so we'll share that.
Awesome. Dr. Fisk delivered my baby.
Dr. Fisk?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Bridget.
Thanks, Dr. Fisk. Wait, which baby is she?
Bridget.
Oh, okay.
She's my 6-year-old. 5, 6.
Well, it's been a great march. We still have marchers coming in, and my official, unofficial estimate, based upon my view of the crowd at the top of the Capitol, was I believe it's between 8,000 and 10,000 marchers today. It's a great march, especially for a first effort here in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you.
And which Knights of Columbus chapter are you with?
I'm with Council 7165 in Dale City, Virginia, the best council in Dale City, Virginia.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
What are your